Hello, Create Schools. Today we're going to take a look at a new chapter. It's Chapter 3, Why Had International Peace Collapsed by 1939? And I like to call this the Hitler chapter because in this we're going to find out why World War II started. So go ahead and get out your paper and your pen and take some notes. Write this title down, and when you're ready, come on to the next slide with me. First, I wanted to give you a little bit of a reminder of the 4 or 5 terms of the Treaty of Versailles that really affected what Hitler did. Just a really quick review. There was the War Guilt Clause, which said that Germany had to accept blame for starting the war. There was reparations in $6.6 billion. Germany lost a lot of territories in their colonies. Their armed forces was severely limited. And then the League of Nations was set up, and Germany was not able to join until 1926. If you have any questions about all of this, please look at my Chapter 1 videos about this, and that will review it all. But go ahead and pause the video and just write these terms quickly down. These terms are extremely important because everything that happens in Chapter 3 are because of these terms. Okay, pause the video here. We'll go on to the next one. So also, you actually don't have to write anything down here except for the other treaties. Go ahead and review the other treaties really fast in the Chapter 1 videos, the impact of treaties on the defeated countries, because you just need to have that as a basic idea to really set your mood. So you can quickly, when you're done with this, go back and watch this video. You can just go into my YouTube channel and take a look, or if you have the Google Slides, you can click right here to watch it. Okay, again, all you have to write down is other treaties. So I'll go ahead, and you've probably already written that down. So here's the meat of this chapter. What are the long-term consequences of the peace treaty? So basically, this should also be review for you. Britain, in the beginning, they were satisfied. They said, this is exactly what we need. Closer to the end of the 20s, the 30s, beginning of the 30s, they started realizing, this still might be too hard. And so we'll discuss all of this later about why they were thinking it, what they did because of it. And the French continue to believe it still wasn't harsh enough. They're still really worried that Germany would attack them. And so, France was still not very happy. Remember, the United States was in isolation at this time. We talked about that in Chapter 2. So there's really no discussion about the United States for the other big three. And the big one, the Treaty of Versailles, was really, really hated by the German people. Remember, the Germans called the people that signed the treaty the November criminals. So they really didn't like it, and all of this hate, this mistrust, the horrible economics is what allowed Hitler to become the leader of Germany in 1933. So go ahead and pause. You can write these in your own words. You don't have to write those notes word for word, but you do need to understand how it is. Okay, so I'll move on to the next one. Okay, so here's Hitler's foreign policy. So you need to, I have a memory word, RADS, R-A-D-D-S, to help you remember the 5 things, Hitler's 5 foreign policy things. So write this whole down, including the memory word, and we'll move on to the next slide. Okay, the R in RADS, is the reversal of the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, Hitler wanted his lost lands back, he wanted to stop paying reparations, and he wanted to remove the military restrictions on Germany's military. So here we have Hitler Party, someone trying to crawl out from underneath the terms of the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, pause here and write those down, and we'll move to the next slide, to the A in RADS. Okay, A is the acquisition of Lebensraum. Lebensraum is another one of those wonderful German words that you all know what it means. And when you write Lebensraum instead of living space on a test, it looks really cool, and you're just actually using your cool German word. So Lebensraum is exactly what it means, living space. Hitler wanted to expand eastward and get more area for the Germans to live. I love that cartoon. Okay, so pause here and write that down, and then we'll move on to the first D in RADS. Okay, the destruction of communism. This isn't one that people think a lot about, but uh, Hitler was very anti-communist. The Weimar Republic was starting to go towards communist tendencies, and so that was one of the ways Hitler was able to take over by saying he was not going to be communist, and there was some suggestions of war against the USSR, and then Hitler linked the communists and the Jews together, and so that is how he started turning the people against the Jews. I thought this was a really cute cartoon. On the left, we've got Hitler, the scum of the earth, I believe. And we have Hitler saying, the bloody assassins of the workers, I presume. And just showing, although they're trying to be cordial or nice to each other, actually what they're saying is very not nice. Okay, so now we go to the second D in RADS. If you need to pause to write that down, please do. If not, come with me to the next slide. Okay, the creation of Großdeutschland. So the Greater Germany, another one of those lovely German words. He wanted all ethnic groups that had been taken away to come back into Germany. And so I included this old map here, just because I just really like old maps with your old German. If you concentrate, you can be able to read it, and then you'll be able to understand it. And it's just talking about how all the all the Germans should come back to the motherland. Now this one's kind of hard to read because the colors are off, but here is the Mittelmeer, the Mediterranean. Here is Italy. So here's the Ostsee right here. So here is water, but then yet here is land. This is the Schwarzmeer. And so he's saying all of these people need to return home, and we need to take all of this land away. So here's the Polish corridor right here. Here's the part of Germany that is not part of Germany that was separated by Poland. So then we have this little cartoon. It says Deutschland über alles is what that says on this bag here. And so he's throwing all of these little kids from all of these different places into the Germany bag. And as you can see, this is Hitler right here with his little mustache. They're throwing him in saying, okay, come back. And it says ex-French British family. So you used to be part of Britain and France, but you're actually German because you're ethnic German, so you need to come back to us. So this is your second D, Große Deutschland. So pause here if you need to take that down. And if not, we'll move on to the next slide. The S, the supremacy of the Herrenvolk. So the Herrenvolk is the master race. Okay? And so what he believed was that you had to be Aryan, which means you had to be white, blonde hair, blue eyes. If you're non-Aryan, maybe we can tolerate you, but no Jews, no Slavic people. So, okay, so then a lot of people then should hopefully be thinking, but Hitler isn't blonde hair, blue-eyed. And that brings us to Hitler had dark hair, brown eyes. He was actually originally from Austria or Austrian descent, and it is also believed, and there's a lot of controversy whether this is true or not, that he was actually from Jewish descent. I believe it's like a mother or a grandmother that they believed were Jewish. There's a lot of discussion and very interesting theories watching it. Also, with the supremacy of the Herrenvolk, they need to remove all restrictions on the German military so that way Germany can be a stronger master race again. So in this political cartoon, we have Hitler balancing the world on his nose with a rifle. And it says it's a good act, but it's hard on the spectators. And so here we've got France first going, oh my, sweating. Then we have England looking very worried and America looking bored. So the further you go away from Germany, the more bored they are. The closer you get to Germany, the scared they are. And so can Hitler balance the world and his Herrenvolk and his Lebensraum and his Große Deutschland and all his master plans? Okay, that's all we have for this video, so please make sure you understand RADS. You need to really understand what's Hitler's aim for, why he wanted to do this, and then you can learn on how he did it. Okay, I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.